Hello, hello. Testing, testing. Hopefully this sounds good. Hello. Looking a little crooked. That's okay. I can fix that. Welcome to class. We love real-time things when they go this way. There we go. I thought I made you correct. That's better. All right, cool. Welcome to class. My name's Sarah. If this is your first time, nice to meet you. If you've been here before, welcome. My shirt says it's springtime, but it definitely doesn't feel like springtime in my part of the world. It is in the 30s, and it is windy, and the wind just like freezes your face. So I'm hoping that more spring-like weather will come soon. Fingers crossed. So, if you've been here before, you might see some extra stuff around. We are going to go to an anime convention next weekend, and we are preparing all of our cosplay stuff. So we're doing a panel on cosplay. I'm competing in the masquerade, so a lot of costume pieces, makeup, and the works that we have to take out and do inventory and get ready to go. So this week's going to be a little crazy, not just because of that, but also because I'm doing another stream. So I was supposed to do a Cos Pilates this month, which is cosplay Pilates class, where I sequence a mat class inspired by a character, and then we dress in costume. Maybe we'll have trivia or on theme challenges as part of the experience. But March literally got way ahead of me, and I can't believe we're at the end. I thought we had like 2 more weeks left in March, and my sense of time, I guess it goes to show, is it just doesn't exist. I don't know I don't know where I am anymore. So instead of a Cos Pilates, we're going to do a cosplay workshop fun Pilates stream. So it's not going to be a class. It's going to be a kind of a workshop and a demo where I'm going to dress up as Tifa from Final Fantasy VII, my favorite, my girlfriend. And I'm going to do a little demo of this nice lady over here. This is a Pilates Wunderchair or Wunderchair. It is a classical Pilates apparatus. If it looks weird, it absolutely looks weird. If you're looking at it and thinking, what the heck do you do on this thing? That's what this demo is going to be about. So I'm going to dress up as Tifa, and we're going to do a little demo of this apparatus. The Wunderchair is my favorite Pilates apparatus. Many of you might be familiar with the Reformer, or the mat, of course, or even props like the spine corrector or the magic circle or the pedipole. Wunderchair is definitely a more advanced apparatus. You really have to feel confident in your foundations to take certain things to the Wunderchair. That's not to say that Wunderchair isn't for beginners. I put a lot of beginners, my clients that are beginners, on the Wunderchair. But it definitely helps to have a little bit of contextualization from the mat or the Reformer before coming to the Wunderchair, which is why I think it's not used a lot in group classes or even in privates. A lot of people love the Reformer, and I love the Reformer too, but not as much as my Wunderchair. So my client this morning, we actually did a lot of Wunderchair. So it's my favorite. You can do some really creative, weird stuff on it. It really challenges your fundamentals and coordination and all of your incredible Pilates principles in a really fresh and interesting way. So we're gonna have kind of a fun little demo. It's gonna be pretty casual, so like I said, it's not gonna be a class, but it'll be a fun cosplay wearing demo of this really interesting apparatus with really interesting use cases and a really cool history to it as well that I'll go into as well. Maybe I'll make some trivia for this. What do you all think? Maybe we can do some like Wonderchair trivia or Pilates trivia. That might be fun. All right, now I'm getting some ideas. But anyway, so that's going to happen Tuesday. So this coming Tuesday at 7:30 p.m. EST. We're going to hop on the Wonderchair, and it might be an hour, it might be an hour and a half, might be 2 hours. I don't know. And then we're just going to play and see how the night goes. So it should be lots of fun. So if you'd like to check that out, I hope you can join me. But today we're going to do mat. So every Sunday I do a mat class here on Twitch and YouTube. We're streaming on both right now. The time is usually 10 a.m. EST, but I had a client this morning to teach, so we shifted things around a little bit. So this is a little later than I usually teach the class. So next week we won't have a session because I will be traveling back from the anime convention, or probably will still be there at this time next week. So we won't have a stream next week, but we, starting in April, we'll be returning back to that 10 a.m. time slot. Gotta sip my coffee. I brought back the cool mug. I got a lot of compliments on this mug. It's a handcrafted mug from a Queens ceramicist, and it's got spikes, and I love spiky things and punk rock and pointy things. I'm infamously known for making any pointy thing on my cosplays too pointy, so this cup really spoke to me. So yes, starting in April, we'll be back to that 10 a.m. EST time slot, and an April Cos Pilates at some point in that third week in April. So stay tuned for that. So to make up for not being here next week, we're going to have our special Wonderchair stream on Tuesday. All right, so we're going to get started soon on this mat class, but a couple of things before we get started. This is an open level class, so if this is your first time taking Pilates or your third time this week, you should be able to enjoy this class. Finding our edge and challenging ourselves is one thing. Pain is something we never want, and pushing through pain is something that we should never do, period. So if at any point you experience pain, abort mission and either take a modification to the exercise or take a pause and join us in the next one. Meet your body where it's at. My body feels different, I feel like, every minute of every day. I feel like it's in a constant state of changing. So meet your body where it's at today. You're here, you've shown up, and you're putting the work in. And that's the most important thing. Movement is good. All movement is great. Even if, you feel like you worked harder one day or another in a workout class. It's all important, and just it's fun and important to move your body. So with that, I'm going to take another sip of this and then we'll get started. Going to keep it pretty classic today. I think we're going to go more intermediate classic mat. I want to do some neck pull today because it's one of my favorites. And I should probably work on hips for myself, so we're gonna do that together today. So if you have any exercises that you like, let me know. All righty. Let's get started. Just realized my phone was off. All right, cool. And I have my headphones in for no reason. If my headphones aren't attached to me, they're missing. So I just keep them in my ears even if I'm not listening to anything. It's just, at least I know where they are. So I don't know if any of you feel the same way, but man, I am a chronic headphone loser. a loser and a headphone loser. So it's so bad. I lose my headphones several times a day. It's really bad. Let me show off the mug. All right, let's get started. All right, lying down on the mat. Ugh. Bring your feet flat to the floor. Let me rock a side pony for this. Gonna start lying down and just take a moment here to just see if you're carrying tension in any particular area, if you're favoring one side over another. This is a good time to kind of take stock of where we're at and how we're feeling. And it doesn't have to be, you don't have to feel great. No pressure to force yourself to feel great either. You know, just move and have fun. Listen to me act ridiculous and hopefully have a little laugh at me. Laugh at me. So let's bring our feet inner hip width distance apart. So that means following the bony landmarks of your hip points all the way down. And that's your line. It's not zipped together. It's not the width of your silhouette or the mat. It's inner hip width distance apart, and that's what it is. All right. Let's take our arms up to the ceiling and then reach your arms back behind you. Maybe the arms come all the way to the mat, maybe they don't. The most important thing here is to not splay the ribs. So we're already warming up here. So it's easy to kind of arch the back here and lift the chest. I want you to keep the bottom tips of the ribs down as you reach the fingertips long and away from you. A little bit of opposition. And then with some resistance, like you're moving through, I don't know, peanut butter, almond butter, whatever your favorite condiment is, find a little resistance and press all the way back down to your start position. Let's take that again. Reaching the arms long behind you, keep the space between your shoulders and your ears, and press it all the way back down. One more time like that. Bring your arms back. Now keep your arms down, reach the fingertips long. Curl your head, neck, and shoulders up into what we call a Pilates curl. So just the tips of your shoulder blades should be up off the mat. And I want you to keep your fingertips on the ground today. Feel a lot of reach through the fingertips. As you reach through the fingertips, widen your collarbones and then crease at your breastbone a little more to find that curl. The curl comes from your center, not from rounding the shoulders, not from throwing the neck forward. Let's hold here for another inhale. And then on this exhale, lower down, nice and controlled. We don't want to crash to the mat. We're going to do that 2 more times. Take an inhale. Exhale, we curl up. Keep the collarbones wide. Now drop the tailbone. If you're death gripping the booty, drop it down. Feel a little bit of lift in the lower back here. We don't want to smush here. Hold here for 3, 2, 1, and lower back down. If releasing the glutes made the curl harder, that's correct. It does make it harder. And that's what I'm here to do, make things harder. This last one, speaking of making things harder, we're gonna add a little kick to this last one. You'll curl your head, neck, and shoulders up and hold. Now we take those arms back again. Staying in your curl, don't fall backwards, and then bring them back to tap the mat. Inhale, reach behind you. Exhale, tap the mat. For 3, and tap, and 2, and tap. Last time. Tap, lower all the way down. Rock your head side to side. If you're experiencing neck discomfort, that could be for a couple of different reasons. It could be because you're not working your scoop from your center enough, and so your neck is compensating and feeling like it has to be the prime stabilizer to keep you up. So try to bring the focus back into your center and curling up using your abdominal muscles. It could also be because you've just started Pilates and you're still building your core strength and you might have some weakness, and that's okay. If at any point though you have neck pain or it hurts, of course, lower your head, neck, and shoulders down and continue the exercise with it down. It doesn't necessarily make it easier for certain exercises. So no worries there. Keep your arms long by your side. Lift your legs up to a tabletop position. And we're gonna lengthen the legs to the ceiling today. I wanna work a longer leg today. Bring your heels together, toes apart in a Pilates stance position. So you have your toes are at about 11 and 1 on the clock and your legs are straight. Now get your tailbone down. So right now my tailbone is down, even though my legs are not perfectly 90 degrees, it's more important that my tailbone is down. So there's a difference between tucking the lower back to the mat and bringing the legs perfectly perpendicular, and then drawing the tailbone long and down to the mat and keeping the legs maybe not a perfect 90, because my core has to work like crazy to keep my legs here. If straight is not possible, take a soft bend of the knees into a diamond shape. But we're going to work straight legs today. So from here, curl your head, neck, and shoulders up and hold. Keep reaching the fingertips long. From here, we're just going to lower the right leg just to 45 degrees and lift it up. And then the left leg, and lift it up. And the right leg, and the left. Nice long hinge from the hip, so we don't bend the knee. Even if the knees are bent here, it's a hinge from your hip crease. So long leg, so everything below the knee doesn't change. So that requires your front body to really draw down and up to bring the leg back in. So we're moving the legs with our abs. Last one here. And then hug your knees into your chest, rock your head side to side. Take a little stir on your back. And it's time for the 100. We love the 100. So technically, in the classical mat system, the 100 is the first exercise you do. It's supposed to be a warm-up. We obviously add warm-ups before the 100. And there's a whole kind of pedagogy created by the incredible Kathy Grant that's called Before the 100. So it's all stuff that you can work on and practice before you kick into that 100. So technically, this is our first exercise of the day, if we're going to be sticklers about it, but who wants to do the 100 first? Not me, ever. So for your 100, we're going to work those straight legs today. So you're either going to bring them diamond shaped to the ceiling, straight to the ceiling, or if you've done this before, lower the legs to 45 degrees, or find a challenging point anywhere in the middle. The longer and more distal the legs are, which means the longer they are away from you, the more challenging and the more core strength you need to hold your legs. So find your working level today. You know you're in a bad spot if you have to change anything in your back to reach the legs long. So that was a bad position. This is a good example of what not to do. See where my back is? I'm like arching. It's so bad. It actually really hurts to do that. I'm not using my core at all. I have all the load really far away from me, and it's starting to hurt my lower back. So find something that works for you today. If you're not sure, just straight up to the ceiling will be perfect. All right, here we go. So legs will come straight or straightish. Curl your head, neck, and shoulders up. Float your arms by your hips. Lengthen your legs to your working level and start to pump for inhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Keep moving and keep pumping. So I have my legs at a pretty high diagonal. And it's really interesting because normally lower is more advanced, but this is easier for me. It's anywhere in between that's more of a challenge. So I found a challenge today. And exhale. Inhale, deepen your waist. Exhale, curl up a little higher for 3. And exhale. And 2. And exhale. Last time. And exhale. Bend your knees in, lower, down. Take one hand on top of each knee and give yourself a little stir in the hip joint. You can also take your hands off and then reverse your circle. Who needs coffee when you have Pilates? You have that 100 in the morning. I teach in the early mornings a couple of clients, and man, once you do the 100, you're just like awake. I'm still gonna take a sip of coffee And let's meet in a seated position. And we're going to do some half roll downs. Now, spinal flexion, or situations where your spine is folding, is rounding, right? That's spinal flexion. It's a pretty familiar shape to a lot of us. Most of us slouch. Even the people with the best posture have spinal flexion. Spinal flexion isn't a bad thing. It's just you have to be able to do everything with your spine, not just one thing. We don't want to just be good at spinal flexion. And there's a specific way to perform spinal flexion. So just slouching the shoulders and rounding over is not the best way to perform spinal flexion, from a Pilates standpoint at least. So let's talk about what the Pilates way is. So you'll start with your legs. We're going to bring our legs, we'll zip them together. Option to flex your feet and bring the heels down, or you can bring the feet long. I have pretty tight ankles. My dorsiflexion's pretty awful. So maybe I'll try to work this position a little more. But also, totally valid to bring the heels down with flexed feet. Your hands are going to come under your thighs, just softly. They're not going to death grip it. And I want you to feel like you can sit really up on your sits bones. So your sits bones are the bony landmarks in your tailbone, or bony landmarks in your booty, excuse me. And so some of us might feel that we're a little behind. I want you to feel like you can lift up off them. So feel like you're squeezing your boot, a light squeeze of the glutes, and then feel a little lift up off the mat. We never want to feel like we're bearing down into the floor. It's not really something we ever cue as teachers, something that you don't really do in Pilates. Because if you do, it makes performing the exercises, it limits your motion. It limits your range of motion. So feel a lot of lift away from the floor. So hands are going to come underneath the thighs, just soft bend of the elbows. From here, your upper body does not move. You're going to start by rounding your lower spine until your lower back touches the mat. So what does that mean? You're creating a C-curve shape with your body. So my upper body, my collarbones are still wide. I'm not slouching the shoulders. And now I get here, you would think I should do this to get the lower back down, keeping the collarbone wide, draw my core in more. This scoops down more to drop my lower back to the mat. And now we keep that drawing back of the waist towards the spine as you round forward and stack your spine up to tall. So there's a difference between this and this. The apex of your C is more in the middle of your back. So let's try that one more time, and then we'll add on. Take an inhale, grow tall. Exhale, start to slide your upper body backwards as you draw your waist towards your spine and get that lower back down to the mat. Now lift up and over to round. Stack up. Now let's go to the waist. You take your tail back. Lower back gets down first. Now just the waist. Deep scoop to rise. Now I'm not using my hands to help me get up because I should be able to do it just with my core. But if you need a little help with the hands, use it. We're focusing on our articulation. Now let's do one where we go to our curl. So what we did for our 100. Taking the shape back, we get that lower back, middle back, and now just the tips of the shoulder blades. Now deep scoop. Lift up like you're rounding over an imaginary wheel and stack it up to tall. Let's try that one again. You'll round back, get that lower back, middle back, upper back, just to the tips of the blades. Now like an ice cream scooper has gone through you. Up and over. And stack up to tall. All right, now we combine this to our full roll up. So hands underneath the legs, find your roll down to the tips of your shoulder blades, and then come all the way to the mat. Option to keep your hands where they are and your legs where they are. If you want to move into full roll up, legs come straight with flexed feet, arms come up to the ceiling, so you lose the help of the arms. 3 times, regardless of where you are. On your inhale, find space in your waist, grow longer and taller on this mat. Exhale, we roll through our Pilates curl, lift up and over to seated, and then find that C shape as you reach over your legs. Lift your ribs away from your hips and find that C curve shape more in the middle of the back. And now we take this shape backwards. You slide the upper body backwards as you get the lower back, middle back, upper back, head comes down. Take an inhale. Exhale, roll up. Dive forward. Reach the fingertips long, but keep the shoulders away from the ears. Take it on back, slow and controlled. Last time, if you want more of a challenge, arms can come to frame your ears. Keep them there as you roll up. Exhale. Woohoo! Dive forward, keep your shoulders by your ears. Take it all the way back. Keep reaching your heels away in opposition. Nice. Lower your arms down. Find center on your mat once more. Shake it out. And then let's bend that right knee into our chest. Take a couple of hip circles if that feels good. Rock a little forward and back. Enjoy this now because you're not going to be able to do it in a little bit. So from here, bring your hand behind your thigh, calf, or ankle. And then lengthen your leg to the ceiling. Now check in with your hips. If your hips hiking or they're not even, make sure that they're even and square to the ceiling. And then bend your knee to bring it back in. Extend it up and bend, bring it in. Last time, extend it up and hold. Now from here, pull your leg a little closer to you. Point your toe and find a little external rotation so that the toes are pointing to 11 on the clock. We have our right leg up to the ceiling. Now from here, can you release your hands but keep your leg where it is? Need that core activation to keep it there. We move into our single leg circle. The leg comes across the body, bring it down and around, and lift it up. The bigger the circle, the more challenging it is to keep your hips down on the mat, and the more core that you need to work this. So find the circle size that works for you today. And now we reverse it, 4 in the opposite direction. I'm gonna go a little bigger because I wanna, especially on the way up, I wanna kick out and up. How high can I get the toes towards my shoulders? 2 more times. Last time. Bend the knee. Take it across your body. Quick supine twist here because we love twisting and we haven't done that yet. We've got a lot more twisting ahead of us, so get excited. Come back through center. Reach the leg long onto the mat. Bend your knee into your chest of your left leg or your other leg. Take a moment, flop around. Enjoy this moment. This is pretty good coffee today. I drink my coffee black. Black with nothing in it because I'm a very intense person, I guess. So, I don't know, just tastes good today. All right, hand behind the thigh, calf, or ankle. Lengthen the leg to the ceiling. Check in with those shoulders. Make sure that they're down on the mat. And square off your hips. And then bend it back in. And lengthen. And bend it back in. Last time, lengthen and hold. Pull the leg in towards you. Point your toe, find, I did it wrong, oh my gosh. Now your toes are at 11 on the clock. Oh my gosh, I meant 1 on the other side. I hope you all caught me. I have a BFA, I'm not good at math. All right, release your arms and keep your leg up. Take it across your body, around and bring it up. There's a stereotype that Pilates teachers aren't good at math or counting. It's very true. You just witnessed it right here today. And then reverse your circle. Oh my gosh, that's, don't you, the beauty of live television, the equivalent of television in this day and age. One more time. Bend your knee in, take it across your body, supine twist. Wow. You gotta laugh at yourself. We do silly things throughout the day. All right, come back through center. Usually now we would do rolling like a ball, and I don't like to teach rolling like a ball in my live stream classes because it requires rolling through the spine in a way that can be unsafe if I'm not watching you. So I don't like to teach it. I will demo it in more workshop-based streams, but for class I tend to not, teach it. So instead of doing rolling like a ball, we're going to be doing shoulder bridge instead. Shoulder bridge is another form of spinal flexion and hip extension, and we'll give our spine a little massage, similar to rolling like a ball, and work that posterior chain a little more. So lie on down, bring your feet inner hip width distance apart once more. And let's talk about shoulders and shoulder bridge. They don't call it shoulder bridge for nothing. Obviously it's for glutes. Obviously shoulder bridge is a great glute and hamstring exercise. Obviously. But it's also called shoulder bridge. So let's talk about our shoulders, because I feel like they get a little forgotten in our bridge position. So, arms are long by your side. Feet are inner hip width distance apart. I could fall asleep on this mat, it's so nice. But we're going to do shoulder bridge. So, check in with your shoulders right now. Keep space between your shoulders and your ears. Find really wide collarbones, like someone's got one hand on one collarbone, another hand on the other, and they're pulling them away from each other. You want to feel a lot of length and space here. The other thing that I want you to think about is the spiraling of your arm bone. So I want you to imagine your tricep, so your tricep here is at the back of your arm. Imagine you have a piece of painter's tape or like you went with a permanent marker onto your tricep. I want you to spiral your triceps backwards so that that paint or that tape is facing down onto your mat. Now this is the same when we talk about internal and external rotation with the leg. So when I say find external rotation with the leg, there's a difference between opening the leg out to the side and then wrapping the inner thigh and turning the thigh bone in the hip to find external rotation. This is what we want to find with our arm bone. Our shoulder and our hip are both ball and socket joints, so they do the same things. So, thinking about that, it's less squeezing the shoulder blades and opening the chest. This is not, my triceps are still in the same spot technically. I want you to think of taking that arm bone and finding a wrap of your triceps behind you. It engages your back. So you should feel this more in your back. If you feel like the top of the shoulder is really firing on, I want you to find more squeeze and engagement through your back. This is going to help stabilize us in our shoulder bridge in this exercise namesake. So let's keep that engagement of the upper body. Let's start with tucking the tail, so it's like our reverse roll up. Lift your pubic bone towards the ceiling and then peel your spine up off the mat bone by bone. Now hold here. Keep the neck long, spiral the triceps down, and then squeeze your glutes. Lift your hips high. From here, keep that lift towards the ceiling with the hip points and the pelvis, and start to take your spine back down to the mat. Upper back, lower back, middle back. Tailbone is the last thing to come down, and make sure it comes down. Take an inhale. Exhale, lift up. Keeping that engagement of the back, squeeze the glutes, lift the hips. Now here, if you feel like your chest is bowing to the ceiling, draw your waist back and close the front of your ribs. You want to find more of a diagonal spine than a U shape. So the pubic bone and the breastbone are in a perfect diagonal line. Keep that engagement as you take it all the way back down. There's so many little elements of the shoulder bridge to change it. 2 more times. Tuck your tail, lift your hips. Make sure your hips are even, engage the center. and slowly lower back down. Last time. Lift on up. And we're going to add on here. So keeping your hips where they are, lift your right heel up and then lower it down and switch and lower it down. So your hips don't move. And lift and lift for 4 and 3 and 2. Last one, slowly lower down with control. Don't crash to the mat. Hug your knees into your chest. It's time for the ab series. So fun. We love it. It's partially sarcastic, but also partially true. Ab series is important. How we feeling? Ugh. That was hard. All right. Let's move into our single leg stretch. We'll keep it pretty classic and we'll move through it pretty quickly. On your next exhale, keeping your knees hugged into your chest, curl your head, neck, and shoulders up just to the tips of the shoulder blades. Hands come to your right leg, take your left leg out long. The lower, the more challenging, so find your working level today. Now with control, you switch the legs without shifting in the body. And switch, and switch, and switch, and switch. You have 4, and 3, and 2. Last one, knees come in, lower down. Rock your head side to side. Now, same thing as before. If you're feeling like your neck is really firing on, keep your head, neck, and shoulders down. Ab series is a great example of how keeping your head, neck, and shoulders down doesn't make this easier. That's the magic of Pilates. Easy is not a great word in Pilates. I tend to not use easy a lot, unless I'm dancing to the Seraphim's Easy. Bad joke, but it's a great song. So it's always, every exercise is challenging your center. And regardless of if your head's up or down, it's always going to be a challenge for your center. And for most of us, that's tough, including me. I've been doing Pilates more than half my life, and it's pretty crazy how it doesn't matter how many times a week I do it, it always feels, there's something about it that always feels like the first time or something I've never explored before. And that's really cool and keeps me interested and more intrigued by it, even over 15 years of being a student of it. So I think that's pretty cool. I never get bored of it. I love how it just constantly challenges me. Yeah, that's my big sweeping statement on Pilates. But that's really, it's really important because I also go and lift weights at the gym and do other types of movement, and I just don't get the same level. I've never gotten bored with Pilates. Even if you do the same classic mat system like 3 times a week, I've just never gotten bored of it in a way that like maybe I'll start to lose interest in other forms of exercise. I think that really is significant to the system itself. It's got something magical in there that allows you to just constantly learn something new and engage with new parts of your body, and new areas of your body and your mindset. And so it's pretty cool. So if you haven't been convinced of Pilates yet, maybe I can convince you to give it a try, or try reformer or something else. But that's one of my favorite things about this practice, is that I've just never gotten bored from it. It's always there, and it's always new and fresh. It's pretty cool. I really respond to that. So all right, I've distracted you all from double leg stretch. But we're gonna do it now. Double leg stretch is probably my favorite to do in the series of 5, other than crisscross. It just feels cool. and I like the shapes that it puts our body in. So we'll start the same way that we did with single leg stretch. Hug your knees into your chest. Your head, neck, and shoulders will curl up. Boop. And similar to our warm-up, our arms are going to shoot behind us so that our biceps frame our ears. As we do that though, the legs are going to go to 45 degrees or lower. And then you'll bring everything back in. You curl through your arms and then bring it in. 3 more times. Hold that shape out for a moment and bring it in. 2 more times and then bring it in. Last time and then bring it in. Lower on down. Cool. All right. Scissors. So similar to our warm-up, we're going to aim for straight. I don't care if the leg's bent a lot. It's more important that you find that hinge at the hip and that we're not doing this. This is what we don't want. Pendulum heels. We want to hinge from the hip here. So, curl your head, neck, and shoulders up. Legs come to the ceiling. Grab behind your thigh, calf, or ankle with those hands. Either right or left leg. I've got my right leg. And then same thing, the lower the more challenging. This leg pulses towards you twice. Catch the leg scissor switch. Now your upper body doesn't change. Draw your abs in to bring the legs closer to you. So that's where more of those lower abdominals tend to come in. You have 2 and 2. Last set. Last one. Hug your knees in, lower down. All right, lower lift. Similar to our warm-up, we did the single leg long march, I guess you could say. Now both legs are going to lower. And then we're going to add on. Stack your hands one on top of the other. Bring it behind the nape of your neck. Legs come up to the ceiling. Same thing, hinge at the hips, no matter what, whether the legs are straight or bent. My left leg is a ½ inch longer than my right. It's so annoying. It bothers me so much. Curl your head, neck, and shoulders up and hold. Now you don't lower your upper body. Your legs lower to 45 degrees or lower if you want a challenge, and then lift them right back up. Inhale, lengthen the legs to lower. Exhale, lift up. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. You have 2 more. Last time. Bend your knees, lower down. Keep your hands where they are. Bring your feet back down. Crisscross foundations. Crisscross, I think, is the most familiar looking out of the series of 5. Looks like this. But there's a way that we're going to perform it that might be a little different from other ways maybe you've done it before. So let's chat. So when we twist, we don't want to go elbow to knee. We want to think armpit to knee. This seems like a strange detail, but armpit to knee is going to require a little more twist and a lot more reach up. So both of my shoulder blades are floating up off the mat. Elbow to knee, I can kind of favor one side and lift the hip. And then what are we doing? We're just throwing our weight around. We're not actually working our deep obliques. So hips stay down and square like single leg circle. You curl up, twist armpit to knee and reach it up. And then come through center, stay lifted. Twist, lift up and lower. Twist and twist. So it's a twist and reach. And the hips stay down. So you're really activating that twisting motion at the waist. Now we add the legs because we have to, because Pilates is so silly. It's like, you think that's hard? We're going to have you do other things while you do this. Single leg stretch legs. We kind of end where we start. We end where we started with the twist, which I think is hilarious. Curl your head, neck, and shoulders up. Twist, left armpit to right knee. Extend the left leg long. Stay up in your twist. high in your curl, and twist, and twist, and twist, and twist. You have 3, and 2, and 1. You're done. That was fun. Lengthen your legs long, arms come up to the ceiling, roll yourself up to seated, take a stretch. All right. It's time for a little, we're gonna mix it up a little bit. We're gonna combine a couple of exercises and do some things out of order, but that's all right. No one's gonna get mad. And if they do, no big deal. It's no big deal at all. All right, hair is finally out of my face. She has been fussy today. I have to touch it up. Blonde is tough. I wasn't expecting to like being blonde so much. I've been red and pink, but I have really taken to the blonde hair. I'm really into it. It is high maintenance, and it does kind of kill your hair, so you have to be careful, but it's really fun to be a Super Saiyan. I find that I find it very cool. So I feel like, I feel like I'm Super Saiyan 2 or something. Definitely not Super Saiyan 3 or 4 or wherever we're at this point. I can't keep track. Where are we? Pink, blue, rose, Vegito? I can't keep up. So we're going to combine our neck pull with our spine stretch, and then combine side bending with twisting to do some compound moves, because sometimes we don't have a ton of time to work out. So we're going to combine some stuff. Fusion Ha, if I'm going to stay on theme. So we're going to separate our feet inner hip width distance apart. This time the legs are going to be straight. If you can't get the legs straight, bending of the knees is fine. We're going to start with our arms parallel to the mat. Going to do a modified spine stretch here. You're going to slide your arms forward, drop your head, and lift your spine up and over. Now from here, keep that lift in your waist. Bring your hands behind your head, and then fold your elbows down, give your neck a stretch. From here, stack your spine all the way up to tall, keeping the elbows wide. And now from here, you're going to tuck your tail, you're going to roll down, just like we did at the beginning of class, but this time, you won't have the help of your hands. At the bottom, we roll back up to the top. And then we reverse. We drop the head, give the neck a stretch, keep that lift in the abs, and then reach the arms long. Find a little extra reach here. Bend your elbows, drop them, stack all the way up to tall. Round back. Pull the back of your neck longer. Reach long through your heels. Roll up. Dive forward. Reach the arms long. Find a little lift. One more time. Drop the elbows. Give your neck a stretch. Feels good. Stack up. Round your spine backwards. And come all the way up. Woohoo! Dive forward. Reach your arms forward. Bring them back behind your head. This time we'll just stack all the way up to tall. Now we're going to do the opposite of rounding. We're going to hinge. So from our hip bone, imagine your upper body is a piece of steel. You flat back hinge away from your legs and come all the way back up. Grow taller off your booty as you hinge back and come all the way up. And hinge. And lift. 2 more times. And lift. This last time, find your lowest point. And then tuck your tail, roll all the way down to the mat. Inhale at the bottom. Exhale, roll all the way up. dive over your legs, take a stretch. All right, we're done with that. We're gonna take our twisting and side bending in a kneeling position. So I'm gonna mix it up. You're gonna come to kneel at the back edge of your mat. I'll walk my mat back a little bit. Does that help? Sure. I don't know. Did it help? Let me know. So, for soa and side bending, I've done this in a seated position before, but we're gonna mix it up today and go a little rogue. I'm really enjoying this coffee today. What is going on? Normally I don't enjoy coffee this much. I just drink it. Maybe I should think about whether or not I actually like it. It's like it does something for me. All right. So, inner hip width distance apart. We've been here. Your hands are going to come behind your head. So it's easy, looking from the side view, it's easy in this position to, when you bring your hands behind your head, to do something like this or shift forward. I want you to squeeze your glutes a little so that your hips are in extension. So we don't want to have any sort of crease in the hips. I want to have a long line here. And then from there, I want you to think of stacking your ribs over your hips. So there's a difference between this and this. So there's that long line. Spine still has natural curves in it, but now we're lifting and engaging our center. Front ribs are closing, feeling a lot of lift of the rib cage away from the hips. From here, you're going to twist to the right, keeping your hips square to the long edge of your mat, and then come back through center. Now from here, we tip at the waist, side bend to the right, trying to stay even on the hips, and then come up. Now we do the same to the left. You twist, grow taller, and center, and side bend, and center, twist, and center. Lift the bottom ribs up and over. Think of this more of like a cane shape. And twist, and center, and side bend, and center. One more time on each side. Keep that lift. Last time. Gonna try and deepen the side a little more. Yeah. That's my less mobile side. Lower on down. We're gonna lie down on our right side waist for hip work for our side kick series today. So I call this a side seated position because if someone's looking above you, it should look like you're sitting in a chair. So your knees are bent parallel to the front edge of your mat. Your shins are parallel to the front edge of your mat. Your tailbone and upper all the way up to your arm are at the back edge of your mat. So you look like a little zigzag, L shape. You can rest on your bicep like a pillow, or you can bend at the elbow. Either way, this top hand will come in front of your chest. Hips are stacked one on top of the other. So we don't want to be too back, too forward, hiked up, too long. We want to find that perfect stack from all orientations. Here we go. This series is called the Fetal 5, and I call it kind of the Feel the Burn series because you feel this immediately. So if you're looking for a quick and spicy little number to do, you're short on time, this is a great series, especially to take with you like traveling or if you're short on space. So take some notes if that sounds cool. You're going to lift that top leg up with the flexed foot and make sure that the knee and the ankle are aligned. And then lower it down. And then lift. And lower. And lift. And lower. 3 more times. All the while, the hip isn't moving, the upper body's not moving. This time, lift the top leg up and hold. Remember that internal-external rotation conversation from before? We bring it back. You wrap, internally rotate knee to knee. Hip doesn't move. Externally rotate. heel to heel. Hip bone is still not moving. Wrap the inner thigh. Wrap the inner thigh. The top of your thigh bone is a doorknob, and you're turning it open and close. For 2. There we go with the math. Last time. Lower down. Take a moment. That's one of those that doesn't look like much, but you're doing the most. Top leg is going to lift up, knee aligned with the ankle. The leg slides straight, and then bring it back in. Should stay on the same plane the whole time. I feel this a lot right in my glute, really deep into my rotators. For 3, maybe. 2, maybe. Last time. Lower, down. All right, final 2. Change it up a little bit. Point your toes. Bring your knees towards the mat, toes up to the ceiling. From here, clamshell, same wrapping feeling and doorknob thigh feeling. You're going to open the leg, open the knee, and then close. Clamshell. Looks like a clamshell. 2 more times. Last time. Now we add an extension. You wrap the inner thigh open, extend, bring it in, and lower. Open, extend, bring it in with the same amount of turnout. 3 more times. 2 more times. That's the hard part, is keeping it at the same level of turnout when you bring the extension back in. Lower, back down. If you don't feel that, hello, welcome. All right. One side done. We're going to go around the world, and we're going to do our extension now, and then end up back on the other side. That's so spicy. I have pretty weird hips, so I need to do that more often. I've got like weird internal external rotation issues. We all have something, right? We're all not symmetrical, and we all have one thing anatomically that we wish could be a little different, but that's okay. It's all good. I'm cool. I'm cool with my weird legs. They're weird. That's what makes them cool. I don't know. I like them. They're okay. All right. Let's move. So, lying down on your abdominals. Legs can be wide or they can be zipped together. The wider, if this is your first time doing extension or you're feeling a little stiff in the lower back, wider, start wider, and then if you want to try to narrow to see how it feels, we're going to do a couple of reps of these. So take what feels good today. We're going to start with our swan prep. 3 reps of swan prep. So stack your hands one on top of the other. Bring your forehead to your hands. Now, I want you to imagine that there's a tack underneath your navel, and you want to lift it away so you don't get pricked. So lift your abs away, and as you do that, start to feel your pubic bone press down towards the mat. So it should feel like a lift and a press down at the same time. Your lower back should feel nice and long. We're essentially finding that neutral spine that we found when we were working in our twist and side bend. We're finding this on our stomach. So that drawing of the abs backwards to initiate the movement of the pelvis forward. So we still have a little curve in our lower back, but it's just not as crazy. There's a difference between this and this. And this is all coming from my center. I'm not squeezing my glutes to get my pelvis down. I'm drawing my abs in to bring my pelvis more into a neutral position. So there's a difference. The glutes will fire on a little bit, but we don't want them to be the prime mover. So think about that as we move through this. All right, I'm gonna face plant on the mat and we'll get to heart opening extension. So we're gonna find that engagement. On your next exhale, Find that engagement, like I just said, and lift your upper body up off the mat. So really reach your sternum through your shoulders and lift up with your abs and upper back. From here, lower down with control. And we'll do that 2 more times. This is less about height and more about length. So how long can you get as you lift up? The longer you get, the higher you'll lift up. And then lower down. 1 more time like that. Lift up. And lower down. Swan prep. Check. Full swan. To be checked. Hands come under your armpits. Now we're swans, not chickens. So hug the elbows in towards your ribs. We want to keep them nice and narrow. We do the same thing that we did with swan prep. You lift up into your swan prep. Do not press into your hands yet. Now, how high can you lift before you press into your hands lightly to lift up a little more? Hips stay down, abs are lifted. Long diagonal spine here. And then lower down with control. 2 more times. You lift up as high as you can go without using your hands. Now lightly press into your hands to lift up. Keeping that long line, I am reaching through my shoulders and lower down. 1 more time like that. Lift on up. Inhale, exhale. Get long to come up. And hold for 3, 2, 1. Lower down. All right. Single leg, double leg kicks. Come to a Sphinx position. Elbows under shoulders. Make a fist bump with each of your wrists. And you're going to bring them forward like so. So your wrists get a little bit of a stretch. Mine are pretty tight actually because I've been spending way too much time at my computer, probably like most people. So this is helpful for me in getting that stretch. Now this isn't chill out, watch Netflix. We press the floor away. We lift, same thing like our swan, abs up, hips down, long diagonal spine. We keep this stability through the upper body, this extension. We flex the foot, pulse it twice towards our booty, and then lower down switch. Kick, kick. So this is a hamstring curl, and it's an extension. This is your whole back body working, your whole posterior chain. Keep lifting your abs away. Try to keep the upper body unmoving. Don't sink into the shoulders. You have 5, and 4, and 3, and 2. Last one. Lower on down. Bring your right face cheek to the mat. Your face cheek, different from other cheeks. Your hands will stack one on top of the other and bring them behind your lower back. If you can take them higher, cool. If not, no big deal. Keep them at your lower back. Your legs will be zipped together. We do our double leg kicks. Both heels come towards your booty 3 times. 3, 2, 1. Press the legs down, interlace the thumbs, lift up into your swan. Now pull your arms up higher. Can you lift your upper back more? Now switch your gaze as you lower down. We kick 3, 2, 1. Lift up. And lower down. Kick 3, 2, 1. And lift up. Last time. 3, 2, 1. Lift up. Hold. Take your legs up. Maybe the thighs hover. Reach your arms long in front of you. Go for a swim up and down for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You're done. Press yourself back into a child's pose. You can keep the legs wide or you can zip the legs together. Oh, swimming. Swimming always takes my breath away. It's one of my least favorite exercises because it's hard. But I always do it. I never skip it. It's just not my favorite, and that's okay. All right, we've made our way to the other side for legs. Let's go. All right. So same side seated position. I'm going to take another sip of my coffee. Wish it wasn't so cold. It's so sunny. Want to go out for a walk, but it's so cold. It's very discouraging. All right, our side seated position. Hello. Make sure your hips are stacked one on top of the other. So I had to draw my hip down a little more to get them to stack. One side might feel different than the other. That's okay. That's not a bad thing. We're all asymmetrical beings. So this side, I tend to sink a little bit, so I need to reach that hip a little longer. Make sure you're stacked one on top of the other, and then we lather, rinse, repeat. Lift that leg up. Make sure your knee and ankle are aligned, and then lower down, and lift up, and lower down. 3 more times. Classically, we do sets of 3 or 5 reps, 3 to 5 reps in Pilates. And lift up, knee to knee, heel to heel. Don't move those hips, wrap that inner thigh. Number 5 is my favorite number, so I like doing 5. I think this is number 5. Lower down. Remember, Pilates teachers can't count. Lift the leg up. Same thing, keep the knee and ankle aligned. You slide that leg out long, and then bring it back in. And slide it long. It's that isometric hold of the hip. 2 more times. This time I did count correctly. Last time. Lower on down. Yes, I turn my phone on with my watch on with my nose. It's bad. All right, let's do our fishtail. Lift the toes up, knees down. This time we wrap the inner thigh and slowly lower. It's easy to kind of throw the clothes away. We just drop the leg. Don't do that. Control it on the way down. 2 more times. I know it's harder, but you'll get stronger because of it. Now we add the kick, extend, keep the external rotation, and down. We have 4 more. And I'm just going to keep talking because it's feeling very spicy. I'm distracting you. We just have 2 more. Oh my gosh, that was so fast. Last time. Lower down. Oh boy. Come up to sit. Now we have teasers, front support, and then we are done. All right, teaser time. So we're going to do a teaser prep, and then we're gonna go full teaser. If you're cool with just doing teaser preps for the rest of the reps, do that. Find what works for you today. Teasers are not easy. They're kind of hard for me because of my anatomy. So, but I still do them. So some days I don't feel like doing teasers. Sometimes I take them completely out of my mat class because I'd rather do other things, other weirder things. But that's for another time. So lying on down, zip your legs together. We haven't done this yet. So for our teaser prep, you're going to scoot your feet a little further away from you because we're going to roll up to them and it can get a little tight. From here, you're going to take your right leg and just lengthen it long. Your legs will still stay zipped together. Arms are going to come up to the ceiling. On your next exhale, find your curl, but then roll up to your V shape and reach for your toes. So we want to find a V shape here. And then lower back down, keeping the leg where it is. Let's lower the leg and switch to the other side. Roll all the way up, and now at the top, draw your waist back, but open your chest through your shoulders. Think swan a little bit here. And now lower back down, bone by bone. Bring it down, lower your arms down. So our teaser back is a little different. I'll demonstrate just with the legs down. So We're situated just behind our sits bones here, which requires the waist to draw back. But instead of being rounded, we're going to lift the chest a little bit. So there's a little bit different from our roll down C curve and our teaser back. So we want a little bit more openness in the upper body. All right, we are going to do 4 teasers. We're going to move through them pretty quickly. Option to do 2 of each teaser prep on each side, or you're going to do 4 teasers with me. Have fun. I'm going to start with my legs at a high diagonal. You're going to bring your arms up to the ceiling. Take an inhale. Exhale, roll up, find your teaser. And then keep your legs where they are. Take it all the way down with control. Inhale at the bottom, switch. Exhale, roll up. Reach for your toes, sharpen that V. And then lower back down. 2 more times. We're just going for them a little faster today. And lower down. Last time. Hold for 3, 2, 1. Take it all the way down. Hug your knees into your chest. Rock yourself up to seated. Wow. Oh, teasers. Not very graceful. All right, front support. 3 front supports and then we're done. So our front support is another fancy word for plank. I don't know why we can't just call it a plank. In Pilates, we call it front support. So it kind of looks, front support kind of looks like a Pilates sun salutation or a Pilates burpee without the jumping. So, option here to add push-ups if you'd like. So we're going to start in our Pilates stance, heels together, toes apart. Finding a long, tall spine, you'll take an inhale, lift your arms up to the ceiling. Exhale, forward fold. It's okay if your fingers don't touch the mat. Just drop your head. I should do what I say. And just get a little stretch behind the back of the legs and maybe in the back, in the upper back as well. From here, you're going to walk your hands out. If you have to bend your knees to get your hands down, that's fine. You're going to find a plank, either on your forearms or straight. And we're just going to hold this for 3, 2, on 1, pike your hips up, find a down dog. So a V shape here. Chest is through your shoulders, heels reaching towards the floor. You'll walk your hands back to meet your feet, back to that forward fold position, and then slowly roll all the way back up to tall. We have 2 more like that. Inhale, arms come up. Exhale, forward fold. Now I exhaled. I didn't exhale when I said exhale. Walk your hands out. Find your plank. Option to hold your plank or go for 3 push-ups here. We'll hold for 3, 2, last time. Pike your hips up to the ceiling. Walk your hands back to meet your feet. Drop your head, roll all the way up to tall. Final time, grand finale. Inhale, arms come up. Exhale, forward fold. Walk your hands out. Option to hang out in your plank or take 3 more push-ups. Here we go for 3, 2, last time. Pike your hips up to the ceiling. Walk your hands back. Drop your head, let it feel good. Maybe bend one knee then the other. Slowly roll all the way up to tall. Draw your shoulders back. And you are ready for the rest of your day, afternoon, or evening. Woohoo! Thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you had some fun. Hope you have a great rest of your morning, afternoon, evening. And I hope to see you on Tuesday. Tuesday we're doing a special stream where I will be dressed up as Tifa from Final Fantasy VII, and we're going to do a demo of the Wanda chair, which is this guy over here. So that's going to start at 7:30 p.m. EST. I'm going to add it to my Twitch schedule right after this. I forgot that I didn't add it. So I will do that. I will be in costume. It'll be a fun, casual, demo workshop. Just kind of it's a just chatting meets a demo, I guess we'll call it, in cosplay. So, should be fun. And I hope to see you there. If you're curious about what the heck you can do on this thing, it should be a pretty cool stream. At least I hope so. If you are curious about anything else that I do, you can follow me on Instagram and TikTok at MoveWSarah with an H. I am pretty new to TikTok. I've got some stuff up there, but if there's anything I should try on there, I'm taking recommendations because I am new to the platform. I feel a little old for it, but I want to give it a good go. So if there's anything that is fun to do on TikTok, let me know. Because I'm still figuring out how it works. Even after doing it for a few months. I'm still not entirely sure how I'm supposed to be interacting with it. Instagram I love. I've always loved Instagram. I feel like I get Instagram. Definitely more than I do TikTok. Maybe I don't get it as much anymore. I don't know. Everything changes so fast. It's so crazy. Nonetheless, you can watch me attempt to do things on social media at this tag or at this, whatever this is called, at my @. I don't even remember what it's called now. That's so crazy. And yeah, you can find updates there. And thank you again for being here. Hope to see you on Tuesday. Have a great rest of your day. Happy Pilates, and thanks for moving with me. See you on the mat soon. Bye.